Hello, everyone. Welcome to Teamwork Design, where we strive to design life from conversation to communication. I am your host, Terry Mera. Recently, I have encountered some of my friends who expressed their reasons for not being able to tackle the project that they desire to do so, which is imposter syndrome. So I took the opportunity to reflect and evaluate my life and share my story with you. And I hope you can come out of yours as I have been thus far. The definition of imposter syndrome is a psychological condition that is characterized by persistent doubt concerning one's abilities or accomplishments, accompanied by the fear of being exposed as a fraud despite evidence of one's ongoing success. Do you know that at least 70% of adults experience imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome involves unfounded feelings of self-doubt and incompetence. You can reduce these feelings by talking with people close to you or mental health professionals. But if that's not what you are interested in or available for you at this moment, perhaps my perspective and my story may help you to overcome that. That's what I'm hoping. First, there are various traits which I didn't know, and I did some research. It's called the traits of the expert. Basically, before you consider your work a success, you want to learn everything there is to know about the topic. And another trait is the soloist. You should be able to handle everything solo. If you can't achieve success independently, you consider yourself unworthy. Another one is the superhero, which you link competence to your ability to succeed in every role you hold. And the last, but not the least, the perfectionist. You focus primarily on how you do things, often to the point where you demand perfection of yourself in every aspect of life. Okay, I admit that I used to be a perfectionist in my own way, and I am still learning to overcome soloism. My perfectionism came from the difficulty of trusting anyone to do the work or job. And I couldn't trust or rely on anyone, so soloism comes into the picture, I guess. I strived for perfection in everything I did for many years. If I tell you that I never missed any deadline in my over 20-year career in the industry, that everything's supposed to be done yesterday, you can imagine how intense I used to be. And to be honest, part of me enjoyed the self-pressure since it did help me to overcome the obstacles and struggles, believe it or not, whether overnight projects or meeting deadlines and etc. However, the overwhelming stress finally caught up with me, and I got seriously ill a handful of times, and I had to learn to let things go. In my experience, the imposter syndrome, self-doubt, perfectionism, and all of these can reappear, mainly when you are triggered by emotional stress or pressure. At least that was my experience. But please know that imposter syndrome is a byproduct of our childhood, whether from family dynamics or school life, which can be worsened through social and work life. The complexity of imposter syndrome is like a puzzle that often you see the pieces of it instead of the complete picture. Do you know how to overcome your imposter syndrome? Letting go. That's it. This is way too easier said than done. Let me tell you. I practice this every day, and I cannot say I have mastered this. But just like anything else, really, even letting go takes practice. Imposter syndrome can stifle the potential for growth and meaning by preventing you from pursuing new opportunities for growth, whether at work, in relationships, or your lifestyles. Confronting imposter syndrome can help you continue to grow and thrive. The decision is yours whether to confront it or not, and decide to let go, step back, so that you can visualize the completed puzzle rather than focus on puzzle pieces. I decided to embrace the fact that these are all part of me and consider them as a reminder to recenter myself. So whenever there is self-doubt or fears that comes into my head or I feel, then I use that opportunity to recenter myself. And again, it's a practice. Like when I decided to start my podcast, I mean, the fact is there. I knew there were countless podcasters and better ones and successful ones and so on and so forth, But even though there were countless doubts that I struggled with for a month, I give myself deadline. I say, okay, 30 days, that's it. This is where I'm going to give it my best, regardless of doubts and fear. And I will make a decision whether to go for it or quit it. So here I am. Also, while, you give yourself deadline, if that is not your circumstances, you can also revisit. Like, I'm not ready to make this decision now, so I will come back to this on so and so date. I started to give a specific duration of my fear or self-doubt or even negative thoughts. It doesn't mean that it will go away after that specific time, but it does help for me to move on, believe it or not. Again, it's a practice that I continue to do, and more I do it, the better I get it. So please keep that in mind. Any of self-growth is never done at once and you succeed. It's a continuation. It's infinity game. Also, let's be honest. If you don't have any doubts in your life, you may not human. What makes you and your story amazing, and why? We'd love to know other people's story, like movies and dramas and books and even music, because we know we all go through kind of the same journey in different forms and circumstances, Do you know any successful people who have not dealt with obstacles, struggles, bad circumstances, loss, and life-changing moments? So remind yourself, as though nothing is really bad or good, that you should be fear of doubts. Just channel that to excitement. Vision yourself accomplishing that task you so desire to do so as often as possible. Again, practice. Additionally, it did help me is to study people who are known to be successful. Like, read their story, listen to their story. They all went through these phases of doubts and fears and overcome their struggles. So it's, pretty much it is normal to feel that way, I mean, success doesn't require perfection, does. It took me such a long time for me to actually learn this. True perfection is practically impossible. So failing to achieve, it doesn't make you a fraud. Offering yourself kindness and compassion the way you would for your friend, instead of a self-judgment and self-doubt. That practice can help you maintain a realistic perspective and motivate you to pursue self-growth and help you to accomplish your project that you desire to do so. For me, the best successful way to overcome my self-doubt and fear is I create my self-evidence of a consistency. So I read books 30 minutes a day, no matter what, every day. I do daily affirmation, no matter what, every day. As the day goes, it has been proof that I can do it. So I take that same approach to the projects that I like to accomplish, whether 5 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day, doesn't matter. I do that every day. Then what happens is during these days is that you will notice yourself, how should I say, less discomfort or less fearful, less doubtful. So please give it a try. So let's just summarize this. There's one, embrace your fear and doubt and give the deadline. So those deadline, you can explore your doubts and fears. And after that, you make a decision whether you're going to do it or don't. Or if that is not the circumstances, give yourself another day to revisit that. 2 is listen or read other people's successful stories, like people you like inspiring you, so that they can motivate you. And another thing is to create your self-evidence of a consistency. That will be your benchmark to tackle any project that you desire to tackle. So I think that'll be the most effective, at least for me, most effective way to face my fears and doubt. Before you know it, you will see yourself finding less discomfort during the project. Please give it a try. Thank you for tuning in. This is your host, Terry Mara.